Hello everyone, how are you all? I hope you are doing well. Today I am going to explain a new story. I hope you all like it. Without any delay, let's start the story. Once upon a time, the God-Drive War was declared in the Holy Empire of Karen. A swarm of Nupon's Nox emerged upon the earth. These people were known for their unusual physical power and pitch-black eyes. Along with them were the witches of the temple, who could keep wild animals under their control and use black magic. Because of this, it became extremely difficult to control things all around. But Karen had a pure priest who was not bound by the limits of time. He had the blessing of God and was very beautiful. Then the high priest of Karen said these words, "There are only one kind of followers of God who can attain divine power. They are the people of Karen. This blue flame is the proof of it, and we will use God's power to bring justice everywhere." After that, the scene shifts and a man is shown saying, "I am proud of you for what you did to the Nupon's Nox. People call you the most powerful iron god of Karen, do you know that? But even though you have so much power, you still haven't been able to catch that witch. How can this be? Give me an answer, McLord." In contrast to the Nox, who do not back down from war despite their great strength, the witches there are not that powerful. They just keep running. Besides that, they use animals or trees as shields to hide and then duck behind them. Then Max says, locating their hideouts one by one has proven to be a challenge. The prince then asks, "Have you heard about the Great Witch? She is called the Witch Leader. She is the leader of those people who can control wild animals and all spirits. Doesn't hearing all this interest you?" Mac asks, "Is this your wish?" The prince replies, "I want you to find that witch whose eyes are red like blood. Once you cut off her head, her body will vanish on its own. But be careful. If you once set your eyes on that witch's eyes, you might come under her control." While leaving, Mac says, "How absurd this sounds." After that, the scene shifts and Mac is shown killing the Nox. Just then, a soldier from behind says, "Sir McLord, we have checked every witch hidden in this area, but we haven't seen anyone with red eyes." Max says, "Yes, they are certainly experts at running away like rats." Then he says to himself, "These witches do not practice any kind of training, nor are they given any. Even so, they are very skilled at running and hiding. Is this because of the power of the Great Witch?" Mac then says, "Let's move forward." The knight behind him asks, "What will we do further, sir?" Mac replies, "We will go towards the south and west." The knight then asks, "Do you really know if we can stay there?" After that, the scene shifts and a lady is shown saying, "All the witches of the neighboring valley have been burnt alive. In this way, our turn will come soon too." Another witch says, "Don't you believe in me?" The first one says, "Yes, of course I do. I was just..." Just then another lady comes from behind, grabs that witch's hand, takes her outside and shouts, "How many times have I told you not to ask Vioni questions?" The witch says, "But what if Vioni betrays us?" The second one covers the witch's mouth and says, "Listen closely, that will never happen. Never. You should know our great witch is just like that." Suddenly, some soldiers arrive and attack that witch from behind. The witch in front gets very scared and says, trembling, "How? You guys knew we were right here." She starts running and shouts, "Run away! I have to get out of here. I have to tell everyone about this." Then the soldiers start killing all the witches one by one. When it's that witch's turn, she says, "Has the Great Witch truly abandoned us?" Mac shouts, "Her eye color is not red, so she should be killed immediately." Then a soldier from behind shouts, "Sir Mac, we have found a red-eyed witch." Some soldiers together bring Vioni out. Seeing Vioni, Mac is very shocked. Mac says to himself while looking at her eye color, remembering what the prince told him, "But be careful. Once you look into that witch's eyes, you will immediately be attracted." Suddenly, Mac uses the blue flame there and then tells the witch, "Finally, I have found you, the red-eyed great witch." After that, the scene shifts and a castle near the border of Karen is shown. They capture that witch and bring her inside the castle. She starts screaming loudly. Mac says to a knight, "Isn't it strange? She was hiding for a long time. That clever witch was caught by us so easily and we succeeded. Was there anything worth noting about her? The knight says hesitatingly, there is nothing like that we could find, sir. Mac says, still be careful and always keep an eye on her. Has there been any news or any letter from the church? The knight says, yes, at sunset that witch will have to be taken there very carefully and they are sending some people for her. Mac says, fine then, if that's all you had to report, you can go now. The knight says, yes, okay. As the knight is about to leave, he thinks for a moment and says, actually, I want to say something. That day when we found that witch at her hideout, I saw her. She was laughing when she saw all the witches burning. After that, Max says to himself, now that I think about it, when I used the blue flame, she said she had something to tell me. Then the witch faints. Max says, what could she be thinking after all? After that, the scene shifts and the next day is shown. Mac is getting ready to bathe. Then a knight comes and says, Sir Mac. Mac asks, what are you doing here so early in the morning? The knight says, very shocked, forgive me, sir, but we have to go outside right now. After that, the scene shifts and some people are shown. One of them, a masked man, says, look at this letter. The father himself has given us permission. There won't be any problem, so please don't worry. Seeing that man, all the knights become a bit disappointed. Then Mac arrives and asks, what is happening here? The masked man says, hello, Sir Mac, happy to meet you. My name is Poppin Tot. Mac takes the letter from him, stares at it, and says to himself, the great witch will be taken from here to the capital to be hanged, and the entire task of taking the great witch from here has been assigned to the high priest doctor, Papin. Then Mac's eyes fall on the witch's hands, who is coming out looking very despondent. Mac asks, who removed the blindfold from her eyes? The knight says, that man Papin said he wanted to see the witch's red eyes. Someone says, she is a witch. Look at her, how filthy and low she is. Then some dogs start barking at the witch. The witch uses a bit of magical power and brings the dogs under her control. Then a dog attacks a guard, causing the guard to let go of the witch. He shouts, catch her. The witch starts running away. Mac looks at Papin and says, did she really try to run away? How foolish she is. Saying this, Mac pulls out his sword. Papin shouts, wait, Sir Mac, you shouldn't harm that witch. Then soldiers come and start catching the witch. The witch shouts, please listen to me. I will help you in finishing off the witches. Please listen to me. Hearing this, Mac is a bit shocked. Someone shouts from behind, you witch, who are you trying to fool? Please forgive me, sir. Let's go. Come with me now. Vioni says, please listen to me. Mac says, will you really help me in finishing the witches? Give me one reason so that I can believe you. Hearing this, everyone is very shocked. The knight shouts, but sir! Then she shouts, Garvin Woods is the nearest area of witches. If you can send someone to check here, please send them. Mac asks, how much time will it take to reach Garvin Woods from here? The knight says, it's not a very long way from here, sir. If we just survey that area, one day will be enough for us. Mac says, fine then, send a team there. Then Mac says, fix whatever has happened here and put this witch back in her dungeon. Until we check that her claim is true, she won't go anywhere from here. Hearing this, Papin is very shocked. Vioni goes from there looking at Mac with great innocence, and Mac watches her with cold eyes. After that, the scene shifts and a meeting is shown to be going on. A man stands up and says, are you really trusting the words coming out of the mouth of that filthy witch? She is trying to save herself for as long as possible, so you shouldn't let yourself be fooled. That great witch might have a lot of information, but keeping her alive can be dangerous for us. Then a knight comes from the witch's side and says, but whatever she said about the witch area is true. The priest shouts, what proof do you have that all this isn't happening because you've come under that witch's spell? Then Mac places a witch's head down and says, is this proof enough? The father asks, shocked, is that truly a witch's? Mac says, 3 years. It took 3 whole years to finish the New Pawns Knox, and the longer the war lasted, the more our army and the earth suffered. If all you priests together could have found a way to shorten this war, then obviously it wouldn't have been this long. So fine, you all can reject this and go to war yourselves. The father says, but still we cannot keep that witch alive for a long time. Max says, yes, you are right. Hearing this, all the priests are shocked. Max says, doctor. The doctor says, yes. Max says, tell the Highness, we want a little time so that we can use the Great Witch. Everyone is shocked. The doctor says, fine then, if this is what you want, you will have to show the results to the high priest. Max says, fine, in 6 months I will burn half of the tamed territory to ashes. Is that enough? Max speaks, Great Witch, it has been nearly half a year since you betrayed your people. If those witches had any brains, they wouldn't flee along the same paths you already know. Vioni replies, if those people weren't fools, they wouldn't worship the devil. Mac counters, what if we don't find more witches there compared to before? You might lose your identity as the Great Witch, wouldn't you? No, I swear that place is… Vioni starts to speak as she walks forward, but her foot gets caught in a snare. As she is about to fall, Mac catches her. What are you so sure about? Mac asks. He then pushes her back roughly and says, do you have some way of keeping an eye on them? Answer me. No matter how many witches we hunt, as long as their leader is alive, we will never truly achieve anything. Isn't that right? Vioni feels a surge of anger and says, no, you are wrong. With my information, you will succeed in finishing all the witches, even if one day you burn me to ashes with your blue flame. But I do not want to die today. Mac replies, I think your wish will be fulfilled. He then calls a soldier inside. Come in and take the witch to her room. The knight obeys. Yes, sir. As he starts leading her away, Vioni looks at Mac and thinks to herself, a room? Will I not be taken back to the dungeon? She shouts, please wait. Where are you taking me? The scene shifts to show Papin, who says, oh, you've arrived. I was just waiting for you, Great Witch. The knight pushes her into a room. Vioni thinks, what is this man doing here? The doctor asks, why do you look so scared? I've been treating you for the last 6 months. Shouldn't you have befriended me by now? Vioni thinks, the way he behaves with me, this is just an excuse. She asks aloud, why don't I see my cell as usual? The doctor says, Sir Mac told me about the injury on your feet. Why haven't you been taking care of it? Vioni steps forward, lifting her skirt slightly. She looks toward a tub and thinks, a tub? The doctor remarks, this is worse than I expected. I can't even see the wound properly. I just see blood everywhere. He then pushes Vioni, saying, nothing can be done about this. You should bathe first. Vioni falls hard into the tub, coughing from the impact. The doctor grabs her feet and says, don't worry, you're in good hands, as always. Just consider this pain as part of the healing process. He presses down hard on her wounds and adds, as a precaution against your black magic, the dungeon guards are changed every day. Don't you think the guards are always excited to get their hands on you? To be honest, is it really your fault? In pain, Vioni kicks the doctor. He looks at her coldly and stares intensely into her eyes, which are now filled with tears. I am certain you have used your red eyes to attract me. Don't you think so? He sneers. Vioni recalls Mac's words. There weren't as many witches as you claimed. She thinks, am I being punished for wrong information? Or has he abandoned me because I am no longer useful? I must get out of here quickly. She looks at her chains and tries to pick the lock. Suddenly, Mac enters and delivers a powerful kick to the doctor, sending him sprawling to the side. The doctor is shocked. Sir Mac, when did you get here? Get out of here now, Mac commands. What? The doctor stammers. Leave this room this instant. From now on, you will only treat the Great Witch at 11 a.m. and only when I am present. The doctor asks, what is the meaning of this? I shouldn't have to say it twice, Mac growls. The doctor makes a face, grabs his bag, and leaves, muttering an apology. Vioni is terrified. She thinks, did he see me trying to remove my handcuffs? I was so careless because I was desperate to escape. Mac speaks, your red eyes. Vioni flinches. What? I asked if you used those red eyes to attract the doctor to you. No, not at all. You are misunderstanding me, Vioni pleads. Besides, my eyes don't even have that kind of power. Max says, if it wasn't your eyes, then are you saying he was trying to force himself on you for no reason? Vioni looks down sadly. I don't know. Perhaps he did it because I have no power. I am a powerless woman. Is it not because you lured him with your gaze? Vioni thinks. He won't believe me. She says aloud, then why don't you find out for yourself? Look into my eyes. If there truly is evil power in them, you should feel something when you look at me. Max smiles thinly. Am I your next target? Vioni thinks. Even after living as his prisoner for 6 months, he still doesn't trust me. She tells him, if your suspicion grows too much, you won't use me. You'll send me to the gallows instead. In these 6 months, have you ever felt attracted by my eyes? If not, then perhaps you are just afraid that I will throw myself at you. This angers Mac. He grabs Vioni's shoulder tightly. What do you think? Even God wouldn't accept a worthless body like yours. The doctor knew I would be coming to this room soon, yet he didn't hesitate to do that to you. There must be a reason. Vioni shouts, why? Why is it like this? Mac pulls her up. To find out what that reason is, you will have to stay with me. From now on, you will sleep here and you will be with me during my daily work. I don't need to say more, do I? But why? Why are you doing this? Mac replies, didn't I just tell you? I need to find out what kind of evil power you are hiding. I've seen you more than 10 times in these 6 months, but now I will observe you even more closely to understand you. Vioni is stunned. Mac adds, didn't the doctor tell you? The high priest will be here soon. He wants to meet you. The scene shifts to a few days later. Mac brings a blindfolded Vioni into a room and removes the cloth. He sits down and reads a letter stating the high priest could arrive any day. Mac thinks, the news was that the high priest is visiting the castle just to see if the great witch is spreading like wildfire. That is why the doctor insisted she be bathed and treated, a proposal everyone accepted. Mac slams his hand on the table and commands, stand up straight. Vioni replies softly, yes, okay. Mac thinks to himself, she is like a fragile relic. Should a person with a soul be put through so much suffering? He then speaks aloud, are you the only witch with red eyes? Vioni replies, yes, you are right. Can you prove it? Mac asks. No. How useless, Mac scoffs. Are you sure you are truly the great witch? Yes, I am sure. Fine then, if you are a great witch, how are you so powerless? Vioni looks at him. Is this all you need to verify who I am? Mac says, was there really no effect? He is arriving here suddenly. Vioni is shocked. Have I been locked in this dungeon for 6 months only for this? Mac steps closer. You could inspire the doctor to act this way. But I have no such power, Vioni insists. Mac stands up, grabs Vioni's hand and demands, if that's the case, then what is this? Where did these old scars on your body come from? These are marks that were on your body even before Karen's purification. Tell me, why does a great witch have these scars? I've heard witches can control animals. Was this power in exchange for sacrifice? If not, tell me about these marks. Vioni explains, many wild animals live in the mountain areas. Naturally, I too. Mac interrupts. I thought you valued your life. Should I perform an experiment to find out? He squeezes Vioni's face so hard that her lip begins to bleed. She whispers, if I could truly control animals, I wouldn't have brought myself before you like this. Mac thinks, her eyes and lips are still red, such an ominous color for a great witch. He pushes her to the ground and shouts, is anyone outside? Bring water to wash my hands. A servant answers, yes, sir. But as he is about to enter, a priest arrives, pushes him aside, and locks the door. Sir Mac, the priest says, what are you thinking, keeping the great witch by your side? Mac replies coolly, oh, look who's here. I'm just trying to find out if she is truly harmful. The priest shouts, you shouldn't bring her to your office. She should be in a high-security dungeon. It is irresponsible to let a dangerous thing like her out of her cell. Move out of the way, Mac says. The priest is stunned. What did you just say? I told you to move because my servants are bringing water to wash my hands. Fine, the priest says, but this is unacceptable. It's clear you don't understand how dangerous she is. There is still time. Hand her over to us priests. Mac counters, the high priest wants to see her. She cannot be arrested. But what if the priest falls into her trap? The priest scoffs. The high priest is a servant of God. He can drive away this evil through prayer alone. You can use anything to destroy this evil. Boiling water, metal chairs, nails, branding irons. Since when have priests been capable of that? Mac asks. Suddenly, Vioni feels strange. She thinks, no, not now. This feeling, I can't do this now. Mac tells the priest, leave the handling of God's power to those who are blessed. Father, you should focus on your prayers. Who knows? If you pray with all your heart, God might reward you with power. Infuriated, the priest shouts, what did you say? He shoves the water basin, which falls and drenches Vioni. Mac and the priest both freeze in shock. Vioni thinks, is it all starting again? She collapses to the floor. Mac rushes to her, picking her up. Vioni, what happened to you? The scene shifts. Vioni opens her eyes, but she is seeing through the eyes of a rat. The rat approaches an apple. Vioni thinks, looking back, I can only describe it like this. My mom lived a life like her mother's, and my life is just as miserable. Where am I? Am I underground? She hears voices. Why isn't the great witch waking up? The doctor says, she is physically fine, but I must check if something is wrong. Vioni thinks, I have to go. Wait, where are you going? The rat starts climbing a mountain and suddenly falls. Vioni falls with it in her mind and wakes up in reality. The doctor asks, Witch, are you unwell? Mac says, wait. Vioni is trembling in pain. Mac approaches her and pulls back her clothing only to see blood. Blood? Here? The doctor is panicked. No, that's impossible. I checked and treated every single wound. Mac grabs Vioni's hand and sees blood there too. We're ending the examination here. Everything stops now. I'm sorry, I understand, sir, the doctor says. Mac asks Vioni, did something bite you? Vioni lies. A rat bit me when I was in the dungeon and I accidentally scratched the wound. You mean it's an old wound? Does it bleed this much just by scratching? Mac looks at her suspiciously. Vioni thinks, I managed to hide this for 6 months. No one suspected a thing. Mac says, witches offer humans every season, don't they? Did they really feed that woman's blood to animals? Or were they sacrificed? Vioni thinks, how did this man figure it all out so easily? Mac continues, I understand that blood is needed to control wild animals, and you were the woman the witches always offered, weren't you? Vioni denies it. No, you're wrong. You're misunderstanding. Suddenly, the light in the room breaks, plunging them into darkness. Mac's voice comes through the dark. It would be better for you to be honest with me. Vioni confesses, I cannot control animals. I experience resonance. Go on, Mac says. Don't stop. Resonance is a power that temporarily allows me to share the senses of any animal I have fed my blood to, but I cannot control what they do. It starts whether I am sleeping or awake, so it isn't useful. If it's not useful, why are there so many cuts on your body? Because, Vioni says, it's hard to tell when or which animal I will connect with. I didn't know, so I was trying to find my limits. So the information you give me depends on that power? No, not at all. Mac says, so you can see everything through the eyes of animals, yet you never used it for yourself. We found no one in the Glar Valley. Vioni is shocked. When did he check that place? It's impossible. Mac says, fine. If you didn't use black magic to give us information, give me the name of the next place immediately. If I find out you lied. Vioni recalls her past. People told her her time was up and she should wait for death. Her own mother once cried, please just die. Vioni's eyes fill with tears. Other witches had to pull her mother away. Vioni was dragged away and thrown into a cave. She thinks, Someday I will be trapped there too, amidst blood and filth. No matter how miserable my life is, I just want to die on my own terms. She speaks aloud to Mac. Hill, you will find another swarm of witches there. No, they are servants of the devil. Vioni thinks to herself, at least one man must be hidden there. Mac orders, the sentry is standing outside. Go to him. Get rid of every rat in the dungeon. Let not a single one remain. The scene shifts to a royal carriage. A high priest says, we will reach the border in 10 days. The journey has been as you wished, your holiness. Suddenly, the horses begin to behave strangely. The saint asks, what is going on? The priest asks for permission to check. Outside, he sees people sitting on the ground. Please bestow God's grace and your mercy upon us, they cry. The priest tells the saint, it seems they are believers from the town ahead. I am surprised they knew you were traveling in secret. The saint says, it is God's will. I am going out to see them. But if we stop, it will take another week to reach the border, the priest warns. I cannot turn a blind eye to them. I must help, the saint insists. The priest bows. Forgive me, your holiness. Allow me to control the crowd first. The scene shifts back to Vioni. She thinks, it's been almost a week. Mac left to kill the rats, but he went toward the Guard Valley, not Darren Hill. She remembers Mac saying they found no one in the Glar Valley and demanding a new location. He deceived me. He never went to Glar Valley. The doctor, Papin, opens the door. Hello, witch. How was your week spent alone? Vioni thinks, Papin. She shouts, wait, Sir Mac said no one is allowed in my room until he returns. The doctor smirks. Oh, don't worry about that. I'm here on the orders of someone with even more authority than him. Someone else? Vioni is confused. You should be happy, the doctor says. Wait, come for a walk with me. They go outside to a large field with a massive hole in the ground. Vioni looks into the pit and gasps. Is this a grave? Don't think about running, the doctor says coldly. There is nothing but open field for miles. You have nowhere to go. Vioni speaks. Anyway, I have no such intention, but I am very curious. Were these all witches? Why are there so many witches here together? I thought I was the only witch you needed, and you killed the ones you found. So what is all this? Just then, the doctor pours a liquid like water on Vioni. Vioni gasps. What did you just pour on me? The doctor smirks. Oh, it's nothing special. I finally got permission to see this through to the end. You can watch. Suddenly, Vioni looks behind her and sees a wolf salivating at the sight of her. The doctor smiles. There are many hungry animals roaming this area, and that liquid I poured on you acts as a catalyst. Animals will be immediately attracted to you. But don't worry too much. There are marksmen here to control the situation. However, you'll have to shed a little blood first. Even if it is the blood of a great witch, animals don't like cold food. They prefer it fresh and warm. Vioni thinks to herself, is all this happening because I told Mac I have the power to connect with an animal's senses if they drink my blood? Did Mac decide to conduct research on me to find out the truth? Suddenly, the wolves start charging toward Vioni. Terrified, she begins to run. The doctor calls out, oh my God, if I were you, I wouldn't provoke them further. No matter how fast you run, you can't outpace them. But still, if I understand this correctly, you will thank me one day. Vioni runs, thinking, no animal in this world truly wants to harm me. They just want me. The moment they taste my blood, they become calm. Knowing the reason behind it, I am still running. That is what truly scares me. A wolf catches up to her, causing her to trip and fall. Vioni thinks, I still don't want to face this. Is Mac trying to know my power and ability? Is that why he thought about researching me? No, the doctor won't stop at this. But if Mac finds out what my true ability is, he might burn me to death like the others. A wolf bites Vioni's hand and she lets out a cry of pain. Another wolf approaches. Tears stream down her face from the agony. She thinks, a miserable life and a miserable ending. Is this justice? Suddenly, one wolf lets out a loud yelp and flees. The other begins to tremble with fear. Vioni turns around and sees Mac arriving on horseback. The doctor shouts, Sir Mac, what are you doing here? Mac dismounts and says coldly, I could ask you the same, Doctor. I remember clearly telling you to keep the Great Witch locked inside. So, what is all this? Mac kills one of the wolves with his flame. The doctor stammers, I was only acting with the saint's permission. Wait, I have proof. Here, the permit. Vioni is shocked. The saint's order? That means Mac knew nothing about this. The doctor continues, It says here that since the saint will arrive late, I may proceed to check the witch's abilities. Mac thinks, he is moving faster than I anticipated. Suddenly, Mac tears the permit to pieces. The doctor gasps, Sir Mac, what have you done? Did you think a mere piece of paper could protect you? Mac asks. He burns the scraps and says, This is my castle, and I must know everything that happens within it. I don't care who you serve, Doctor. I will not tolerate someone living in my palace and disobeying my orders. Do you understand what I am saying? The doctor bows. Please forgive me, sir. It will never happen again. I will finish my work today by holding on to the letter, Max says. He then looks at Vioni and says, If your legs are fine, why are you still lying on the ground? Oh, I'm sorry, Vioni says. Max starts walking away. I am heading toward the palace. As they leave, a wolf is shown hiding, watching them from the shadows. The scene shifts. Vioni has reached the palace. She is blindfolded and someone pushes her, saying, Move faster. She reaches a room, removes the blindfold, and wonders, Where am I? She sinks to her knees. Mac's voice cuts through the silence. Have you no shame, or can you not see with your own eyes? Vioni looks up at him and says, Please forgive me, sir. I didn't see you. Fine, don't worry about it. Come here, Mac commands. He notices Vioni's hand is bleeding. Are you not being treated well? Vioni is startled. Oh, I think it's because my chains were pulled a bit too hard when I was being brought here. That's why the wound started bleeding. You bleed quite a lot, Mac observes. Yet it is a miracle you are still alive. Tell me about the animal that bit you. Vioni replies, If you are planning to catch it, there is no need. Any animal I connect with dies very soon. How do you know that? It has always been that way, Vioni says. If it weren't, I would have gone mad. Tuning into an animal's senses is a heavy burden. Max says, I truly don't understand. If you can't even use it consistently, why do you want to feel an animal's senses? Because it is the only way to detect disasters on this earth. Earthquakes, landslides, animals feel these things long before they happen. Mac recalls the priest saying that even disasters stay away from witches, using it as proof of how filthy they are, beings who don't follow God's rules. Vioni says, You really don't need to worry. I don't know when the animal will die, but it will be soon. If what you say is true, Max says, you will have to stay here for a while. Vioni is stunned. Pardon? You mean your office? Does this really look like an office to you? Mac asks. Oh, no. I mean your private chambers? Since we don't know when the connection starts, whether you're sleeping or in the middle of the day, I must keep an eye on you all day to observe your power. But why do you want to see it? Vioni asks. I can't tell you when it will happen. It doesn't matter, Max says firmly. You will stay here until it happens. No matter how much you protest, you cannot leave this room without my permission. The scene shifts to morning. Vioni has fallen asleep in the corner of the room. She wakes up instantly at the sound of Mac's heartbeat. Max sees her and prepares to leave. Are you going? Vioni asks. Yes, Mac replies. I'm going out for a few hours. Try to get some rest. He leaves. Vioni sits there in silence. The scene shifts to Mac walking through the market. He thinks, It has been a while since I brought the Great Witch to my room. She doesn't sleep much. Why is she trying to stop herself from reaching out to others? Mac goes to the prison. A soldier greets him. Mac asks, Is this the witch we caught from the valley? The witch cries, Please let me go, sir. Among all of us, only one has real power, the Great Witch. The rest of us are innocent. What do you mean by power? Mac asks. The ability to sense through animals? So you already know, sir, the witch says. Yes, that is correct. Then tell me, why is she the only one with that power? I don't know much, the witch replies, but perhaps it is so she can prophesy the end of the world. The great witch serves as an offering. Her sacrifice is necessary to find the animal that will bring destruction to the world. The destruction of the world? What nonsense are you talking about? It is true, the witch insists. There is a story among us passed down through generations. One day an animal will become the cause of destruction. To stop it, the great witch uses her power to find that animal. And how does she find it? If an animal does not die even after coming into contact with the great witch's blood, it is believed to be the incarnation of the devil that will end the world. And what do you do when you find that animal? Mac asks. Then, by killing the great witch who is linked to it, we can save the world. Mac is shocked. So you constantly feed her blood to wild animals just to see if one doesn't die, all to stop the end of the world. Mac angrily grabs the witch by the throat. Did you make this all up because you're angry with your leader? Besides, your great witch won't find any animal now because she is my prisoner. I suppose no one can stop the end of the world now, right? The witch stammers. But Mac starts to leave. There's no point in keeping her alive. Get rid of her. But she is a great witch, the woman screams. I heard there is only one, Mac says. Stop wasting my time. I am not lying, I swear. A great witch's powers are inherited by her daughter. Vioni's mother recently gave birth to another child. Vioni doesn't even know. Mac pauses. Then shouldn't Vioni's mother have the power? She lost her power long ago. She fulfilled her duty and gave birth to another. Why are witches so strange? Mac mutters. I know witches can't get pregnant on their own. Who is the father? I don't know exactly. It isn't easy for a great witch to find a successor. She has to stay with different men until she gets a good seed. Mac thinks, how disgusting. Yet for a moment I began to understand the witch's perspective. I always wondered how she could betray her people so easily. Now I see they were never worth the sacrifice she made. Mac leaves, saying, Fine, we can get rid of her now. The witch screams behind him. As Mac walks away, Ignid stops him. Sir Mac, please wait. What is it? Ignid asks hesitantly. When are you planning to see the Great Witch? We don't need her information to clear the tame area. It would be best to send her back to the capital. The priests are mocking you, saying you've become the Great Witch's personal guard. Her rumored abilities have proven to be false. Don't be so sure yet, Max says. We don't fully know her ability. If we rush her to the capital, we will learn nothing. If something goes wrong, who will suffer the consequences? Ignid bows. Well, fine. Max says, we only do what is necessary. Don't let your feelings overcome you. He thinks to himself, the place she mentioned turned out to be a real hiding spot. She isn't using her ability to find those places. What is she hiding? I can't let my feelings cloud my judgment. Mac reaches his room and finds Vioni sleeping. He looks at her and thinks, she is finally sleeping well for the first time in a week, but her situation is strange. Vioni begins to moan in pain and screams. Mac is shocked, remembering her words. Since it happens during sleep, how will you know if I'm dreaming or linked to an animal? He quickly removes the bandage from Vioni's leg and sees it bleeding. Are all her scars from this? And where is this sweet smell coming from? It smells like delicate red wine. The scene shifts to the wolf that bit Vioni. It sees a hunter and pounces, but the man kills the wolf with his weapon. The scene shifts back to Vioni opening her eyes. My senses aren't working. This shouldn't have happened. What happened? Mac calls her name. Vioni is startled. Sir Mac? Were you dreaming? Yes, it wasn't important. I was just walking in the forest. Vioni feels thirsty and clutches her throat. Mac gives her a cup of water. Her hands are trembling so much she can't hold it. Mac helps her hold the cup. He then takes a key and unlocks the chains on her hands. Drink it. I don't want to hear the rattling of chains anymore. Thank you, Vioni says. Her coughing stops. Now tell me what happened, Mac demands. The animal that bit me, I linked with it. It was wandering in the forest. It attacked a man, but the man killed it. There were many people there, so it couldn't eat. Max says, that animal was roaming behind my palace. Are you saying people are camping there? People so skilled they can kill a wild beast in a minute? I knew I shouldn't have trusted you. Vioni is shocked. But I'm telling you the truth. They had black eyes, she adds. The people I saw, there were many of them, and every single one had completely black eyes. Mac thinks, could it be that the Great Witch knows about the New Pond's knocks? He looks at the cup she drank from and sees blood on the rim. Is this blood? That sweet smell is so strong. I want to taste it. Max says, if it's true that you can link with any creature by feeding them your blood. He picks up the cup. Then what about a human? No, Vioni screams. Tell me what happens if a human tastes it. Vioni trembles. You would become a monster. If you taste that blood, you will lose yourself and turn into a monster. The sweet smell fills the room. Indeed, Max says, a witch's blood is poison. He stands up and shouts to those outside, call the saint immediately. Vioni asks, Sir, you've seen how I link with animals now? Can I go back to my room? No, Max says. How can I send you back now that I know you are a living bag of poison? Vioni thinks. Then shouldn't you stay away from me, sir? Max says, don't be so troubled. You've obeyed my every word, so this is your reward. I have freed you from the shackles. But don't get any strange ideas. Just be grateful I am allowing you to stay here. Vioni asks, does this mean you are removing the handcuffs for good? Vioni remembers the harsh words of the past. Someone had shouted, look how filthy that witch is! How low! Then Mac's voice breaks through her thoughts. Don't you think the soldiers and all these people are always ready to lay their hands on you? Is this only your fault? Vioni looks at him and says, Sir, you always look at me with such a lowly gaze, but would you believe it if I said you are the most merciful person to me? Just then a doctor arrives and says, Sir, I have arrived. Mac replies, Yes, I was the one who called you. The doctor approaches Vioni and remarks, So this was the horrible thing. What did you do to her that she looks so troubled? Vioni whispers, I don't even know exactly what I have done. A knight then informs Mac, We have found that some people have set up camp behind the palace. We sent some dogs to investigate. Should we send more knights? No, Mac says firmly. I will go there myself. As you wish, sir, the knight says before leaving. Mac thinks to himself, Vioni said that no matter how lowly I view her, I am the only one who is kind to her. He looks at his blue flame and thinks, Do not let yourself be swayed. Mac, calm your mind and think of the world outside. You are a servant of God. The scene shifts to show several priests discussing Mac. Mac is truly special. He doesn't just possess divine power, he has a vast amount of it. It is magic that he can manifest his flame before everyone without any help, but his power could go out of control at any moment. That is why he must always be kept under strict control. A saint is shown striking Mac, saying, Never forget that you are a servant of God, Mac. The scene shifts back to Mac, who thinks, The smell of blood has always been this disgusting. A knight approaches and reports, Sir, we have thoroughly dealt with the knocks. Good, Mac says. Now hang their heads on the palace walls alongside the heads of the witches. The scene shifts. The high priest has reached Mac's castle. So how are you, Mac? Mac is shocked. The high priest? Why did he have to come now? He bows and takes the high priest's hand. How are you, your holiness? The scene shifts to Vioni looking at her hands. She thinks, At this rate, I might never fulfill my plan. I intended to give my last bit of information and then flee this place. But why am I so anxious? I don't know what will happen. Soldiers are shown dragging Vioni out. Someone shouts, Move faster! They push her into a room with great force. Vioni looks up and is startled. A knight grabs her by the neck and forces her head up. Show proper respect to the high priest. There is no need to be so cruel with her, the high priest says. Step aside. He sits down and reaches out to touch Vioni. Mac immediately stops him. Do not touch her. She can be very dangerous. A priest gasps. How dare he? He grabbed the high priest's hand. The high priest smiles. Please, everyone be calm. I am glad to see how much Mac cares for my safety. However, Mac, I understand your concern, but I think it would be best to observe this witch from up close. Vioni is shocked. Mac asks, what do you mean by seeing her up close? Oh, I simply want us to speak personally, the high priest replies. He tells his attendants, arrange everything for us, prepare a room and food and drink. Vioni thinks, a private meeting with the high priest? Mac speaks up. Please give me permission to be present in this meeting as well. The high priest smiles thinly. Mac, please do not waste my breath. Mac is suddenly reminded of a time the high priest struck him and said, never forget that your only existence is to serve God. The high priest leads Vioni toward a room. Let's go. Vioni turns to look back at Mac, but his face remains expressionless. The scene shifts. Vioni and the high priest are sitting at a dining table. Vioni begins to eat a cupcake. Oh, a cupcake. The high priest says, goodness, I thought my presence would be a problem for you. He picks up a glass of wine. Here, drink this. Vioni's hands tremble as she takes the drink. She finishes it, but soon begins to feel strange. Why do I suddenly feel dizzy? The high priest laughs. A little wine is good to take away your tension. Now are you ready to answer my questions honestly? Vioni thinks, I don't know why this is happening. The high priest begins, let's start. Your hand, is it healed now after that beast bit you? Yes, it is fine, Vioni replies. I suppose this is nothing new for you, the high priest says. I heard that from the day you arrived, your body was already covered in scars and wounds. Vioni thinks, how much does he know? He already knew the doctor was researching me, but the real question is, how much information did Mac give him after finding out about me? Vioni says aloud, these are marks from when I used to worship the devil. There is no need to hide anything from me, the high priest says. If you honestly accept your sins, our God is very merciful. He will surely show you the path to salvation. I am sorry, Vioni says, but that is all I have to accept. How disappointing, the high priest sighs. Do you think I am asking these things because I don't know the truth? I know your blood can link with wild animals. Vioni shouts, This power was handed to me by the devil. It doesn't matter where your power came from, the high priest says. What matters is how you use it. Vioni thinks to herself, looking at the high priest reminds me of one thing. The most beautiful flowers often hold the most dangerous poison. The high priest continues, if you walk the path I show you, you will not have to face suffering. You will be far from pain. If you wish, I can even stop the hunting of witches. Vioni is stunned. What? She thinks, what is he talking about? What I mean is, the high priest says, I won't kill people like you. In exchange, I get to use your power as I see fit. You must take an oath. Vioni thinks, what is he saying? And this is coming from the high priest himself. I can't believe it. This is the worst possible situation. Outside, Mac begins to move toward them. A priest shouts, you shouldn't go in there. The high priest looks at Mac and says, oh, it's fine. Let him in. Mac demands, what were you talking to the great witch about? The high priest smiles. Well, perhaps your judgment is better than the doctor's. I would like to hear your opinion first. How do you find this girl useful? She is a great witch, Mac says simply. The high priest laughs. Oh yes, I should add, she is very beautiful and attractive. So would you like to hand her over to me or not? I still need her for information, Mac replies. Whatever you are doing with her seems very exciting to me, the high priest says.
And the video ends right here. I have one request for all of you. If you like this video and want to see more manhwa stories like this, please subscribe to our channel, leave a lovely comment, and give it a like. Just keep showing your support. I really need it right now, so my dear brothers, you can show your support by hitting that subscribe button. I'll see you all in the next video. Until then, bye-bye and thanks for watching my video.